Imagine this: you are on a road trip, cruising down a smooth highway when you spot a small crack in your windshield. You think to yourself, it's just a tiny crack, it's not a big deal. You continue driving, ignoring that tiny crack, not realizing that with every bump in the road, it's spreading. Over time, that crack turns into a massive web, obstructing your view and making your journey dangerous. Now, picture your relationships, your career, even your own well being. The small cracks you overlook in these areas have the potential to grow into something much more serious, and the consequences could be life changing. Let me ask you, have you ever dismissed a red flag? Not just in relationships, but maybe at work, in your friendships, or even in your personal health. We all have our reasons for doing it. Maybe we're afraid of confrontation. Maybe we think it's not a big deal. But I'm here to tell you that ignoring even the smallest red flags can lead to consequences you will regret. Let's break this down. Red flags are signals, warnings. And while we might think we are being polite or understanding by brushing them aside, we are actually doing ourselves a disservice. This isn't just about dodging uncomfortable situations, it's about protecting our future. Ignoring early warning signs can lead to a cascade of problems that could have been prevented. But more importantly, they can lead to a loss of time, energy, and even your peace of mind. Now, I'm not saying every tiny hiccup you encounter needs to be treated like an emergency. There are moments when we blow things out of proportion, but what I'm talking about here are those subtle signs: when you feel uneasy, when something doesn't quite sit right, when your gut instinct is telling you something is off. It's in those moments where the smallest dismissals can plant seeds of something much bigger. Think of it this way: small cracks in your windshield doesn't seem important at first, but over time they have the potential to compromise the integrity of the entire glass. And once that happens, replacing the whole windshield is way more expensive and time consuming than just taking care of the small crack when you noticed it. You might be thinking, but what if it's just a one time thing? What if I'm overreacting? Here is where it gets interesting, where we tend to justify our feelings away. In relationships, for instance, you might notice a small habit or comment from someone that rubs you the wrong way. Maybe they talk down to you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, or they dismiss your opinions. At first, you shrug it off. It's not a big deal, right? But over time, that small habit evolves. It gets worse. The behavior becomes more frequent, more invasive. Suddenly, the initial discomfort has now grown into a full blown issue that's eating at your self esteem, your happiness, or your sense of security. What you dismissed as nothing early on is now something that threatens your emotional well being. Now, let's take it to the workplace. We've all had moments where we ignored a colleague's behavior. Maybe it was a comment or sure or a habit that rubbed you the wrong way. You might have told yourself, they are just having a bad day. I'll let it slide. But here is the thing: those bad days can pile up, and if you don't address the issues earlier on, you could find yourself stuck in a toxic work environment, wondering why your professional growth seems to have, gone down. But the truth is, the bigger issue isn't just about confronting someone, it's about protecting your peace and setting boundaries earlier on. Boundaries are powerful, and when we don't set them, we allow those red flags to take root and spread. Now, here is something that will truly transform the way you approach every situation. When you learn to recognize and address small red flags, you are not only protecting yourself, you are also growing in self awareness. You are teaching yourself that your peace, your values, and your time are non negotiable. And once you develop this mindset, it spills over to every aspect of your life. Let's take a moment to reflect on health. You know those minor aches and pains, the ones you feel and think, well, I'm just getting older. It's probably nothing. What happens if you don't listen to your body and take action early? Over time, that little ache could turn into something more serious, something that requires years of treatment or a dramatic change in lifestyle. How much time would you have lost by ignoring that small sign? What I'm asking you to do is to take these red flags seriously, not from a place of fear, but from a place of awareness and empowerment. Every time you dismiss a red flag, you are putting your future at risk, your peace at risk, your relationships at risk. It's like telling your future self, I'll deal with it later. But later may not come in the way you expect. So, what do we do? First, we need to listen. Listen to our instincts. Pay attention to those nagging feelings in the back of our minds. Trust the discomfort because it's not a signal that something is wrong. It's a signal that something needs to be addressed. Start small. Address those little things that bother you, even if they seem insignificant. You'll be amazed at how much smoother your life becomes when you do. Second, you must act. Addressing red flags doesn't mean making sweeping changes or having big confrontations. Sometimes it's as simple as a quick conversation, setting a boundary, or taking a step back. And if you're not sure how to address something, start with asking questions. Curiosity opens doors to understanding, and understanding helps you make informed decisions. And third, be consistent. Don't let one red flag slide, then another, and another until you're in a situation that feels overwhelming. You are worth the effort it takes to address issues earlier on. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with knowing you've set clear boundaries, that you've addressed issues when they were small, and that you are in control of your own path. Your future self will thank you for the decisions you make today. So, I ask you, what red flags are you ignoring right now in your life? What small cracks are you spreading unnoticed? Now is the time to take action before they become bigger problems that are harder to fix. The small things matter. They always have, and they always will. I hope this has helped someone today. Thank you for watching and listening. I do hope to see you in my next video. Bye.